correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome to Me and Steve Talk RPG, the podcast where me and my friend Steve...
We're playing games this time.
Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. The setting of this campaign, Origin, is inspired by West African cultures, histories, and aesthetics. None of the players, and certainly not myself, have lived experience or even ancestry from that part of the world. While Origin is part of the canonical setting for Exalted, I've drawn on real-world West African traditions to help bring the setting more fully to life. This isn't meant to be an accurate historical or cultural portrayal, and it is definitely not a commentary on any real-world nations, peoples, or beliefs. One key difference is theological. While Timbuktu and the surrounding regions were deeply shaped by the arrival of Islam, Exalted has its own divine and mythological structure that plays out very differently. My hope is to approach these inspirations with respect and care, and I welcome feedback if I fall short. In the session notes, there will be a short list of resources to learn about the real history of West Africa and the Sahel. Thank you. All right. I guess we can start playing then.
Well, you know, I do need to do the thing where I get roll 20 up and
Oh, yeah.
sheet, because I kind of didn't remember to do that.
Character sheet? What? Character sheet?
And I just have to remember where I put those bookmarks.
Character sheet, that's a good point.
Okay, so I'm not the only one. That at least makes me feel better.
At some point, I need to actually spend my experience points instead of having decision paralysis.
Hey, you're not allowed to complain about having decision paralysis, because I bought the PDF specifically because of this game, and I have yet to actually read much of any of it.
Yeah, I mean...
We'll get there.
Cool.
I am a bad gamer.
I don't know.
I've been writing homebrew for Household all week. I can't say anything.
So I wanted to do one thing before we moved on from where we were the last session. What are you guys doing with Zorak? I'm understanding that Jen's character basically saved his life, cured him of the infection and whatnot, but I'm not clear on what you guys did with him.
So I'm only speaking for me here, but it was my understanding that the impression that I got, we'll say, was that we were basically just letting him die, at least. Or I was actually thinking about having Spots just enjoy him. But
okay,
that's me. That's not, I don't want to push what I was thinking on the rest of the group.
Yeah, and what I got at the end of the session last time was a lot of, well, if the group wants, I'll do this. If the group wants, I'll do that, and nobody was expressing their personal opinion. So that's one vote for let the hyena eat him. Does anyone else have an opinion?
No.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be a little annoyed if we let the hyena eat him, because then why'd I, save him? But...
Well, okay. Let me ask the question this way. And I feel like this is kind of how Cyclone might feel. What purpose does he serve us alive? Other than a problem?
Okay, that's fair to ask.
I don't mean to be that cold, but I feel like Cyclone is very much kind of that pragmatic scoundrel, and sometimes not in a nice way, and so look, he's only going to be a problem for us going forward and create a conflict between Alaskos, and potentially create a problem for Alaskos, who is now in our employ / ally, maybe. That's my sentiments. I'm not going to get up on a soapbox and demand them, but that's where I think my character feels about it.
Yeah, the only thing I could think if Finn would contribute is if whether or not an open fight in front of everyone would kind of seal the deal, or because he was the commander of the Red Fangs, if I'm reading the show notes, the
Yes.
briefing correctly. So I mean, that would be the only thing coming from Finn's cultural background is would an open kind of the trial of sword, a fight basically seal the deal and sort of show that they are superior and they've taken command officially. But if not, then he probably would just be
he has been beaten. He has been stabbed, sliced, and beaten to within an inch of his life. He is unconscious even if he gets medical treatment right now. There is no having another fight with him for months, unless you want to, murder a disabled guy.
I mean, Finn would probably not be up for murdering a disabled person, but at the same time, or disabled, a foe that obviously cannot fight back.
Mm-hmm.
But he also not see a use to keeping him around. He also understands that, having a wounded enemy is not advantageous.
Yeah, I guess maybe I should say I don't think I'm advocating murdering him, but I'm also not advocating saving him.
Okay.
We're the Batman dilemma.
Yeah, exactly. Actually. What is Batman if not Nightcast?
I mean, honestly, at this
I would
point,
argue
to the good
but...
doctor.
Is there a place we can take him quickly? I can't. Where are we again exactly? It's been a while.
You're still at Namara's Rest, which is a village about a day's travel from the city of origin itself.
Well, I mean, I suppose then taking him back to the village for the village to heal him or do with him as they will is kind of probably the best option.
That I don't have a problem with.
I mean, in Finn's mindset, if the good doctor is the one that saved him, then technically she's the one that would oversee his fate.
Yeah.
So, you're patient,
Is there
Doc.
any chance that I guess I would want to figure out if there's any chance that we could recruit him, because
He's unconscious and you cannot answer those questions at this time.
well, yes, I'm aware of that. Therefore, I would prefer not to smother him with a pillow. If when he regains consciousness, he is willing to work for us, in exchange for not being smothered with a pillow, then we can discuss that. If he proves to be absolutely intractable, well, I'm sure there's a staircase he can fall down several times.
There. In many ways, he is the heel of the boot of the oppressive lord, if you will. But perhaps only a boot that was bought and paid for.
More than likely. I mean, I'm sure that if he'd had some true ideological attachment to what he was doing, then he probably would have been willing to do it for either less money or no money.
Fair. I know Alaskos very much seemed disgusted by what they were doing, but doing it because of his soldierly duties. And pointing the finger at this gentleman as the one who said this was the job.
Exactly. And for all we know, he may have some tragic backstory with, a disfigured little brother who is being taken care of by an evil genius mastermind, and therefore he has to do what the evil genius says. I don't know. But, and this is player for a minute, I am a sucker for a redemption arc. So if I can ever, help that along, I'm going to jump on that as a player. But again, there may be something that is driving him, and we don't know.
I will say both as a player and in character, I'm okay with wait a little longer and see.
Okay. So, and you guys are taking him back with you to the village then?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
seems like our only viable option currently.
All right. So, you will be... All right. You guys pick him up and haul him off. When you get back to the village of Nomara's Rest, you are met with a mix of reactions ranging from fear to fear and awe. You guys kind of glowed a little bit, and they watched the whole thing, and you smoked a mercenary group. They offer you a place to sleep for the night, food, millet beer, and there's kind of a, well, I guess we'll deal with this in the morning sort of vibe going on. What are you guys going to do?
I mean, that seems like the appropriate thing to do at this point, in my opinion. You know, I can imagine maybe some more of this, or some of this conversation we've actually just had kind of happening as we're, what do you want to say, sitting around winding down for the night, you know, around like a little fire or something like that. But, and I think, yeah, you know, if anyone's cool with that being kind of a scene, I think maybe Cyclone kind of looks to the rest of you all and so it would appear at this point subtlety is no longer our primary approach. Where do we go from here? Do we confront this lord or the whole hierarchy, or where do we go next?
I suppose that depends on what your objective is.
My objective initially was largely to help these citizens who wish to free themselves of the thumb of Gem and bring back the activities of their gods. You know, with perhaps some lining from my own pockets in the meantime, but that is more of a secondary goal.
My goal is still to find a couple of books, but I'm certainly willing to finesse that a bit.
What are these texts you seek?
They're first-age medical texts, and I was told that one of the libraries here might have a copy, or perhaps one of the bookshops.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Littlebat's aunt who ran a bookshop and formerly worked in one of the libraries or something like that. Perhaps we should send you to speak to her regarding such things.
She's already spoken to her. That was your character introduction, actually.
Okay.
You spoke to her, and she said there might be a copy in the library.
Okay. Yeah, Steve had forgotten that for sure.
Yeah, and then everything went sideways.
Sideways in an RPG? No.
I know.
I think Finn, just kind of sitting kind of off to the side, I'm kind of leaning forward. It's like, I think we've taken a bit of an active role and in this situation here, so I feel like we're obligated to see things out to the end.
Yes.
Lined pockets or not.
Well, yes, at this point we have made ourselves a factor, and to just walk away at this point would be to leave those who trusted us to fend for themselves, which that was the whole point of helping them in the first place. So, do you think that the remainder of the Red Fang force is headed back to the city, or were they scattered to the winds? Aside from Alaskos's company.
Well, soldiers typically have families to feed, that's why they're here, so even if they're scattered to the wind, it won't take much to bring them back. Maybe a show of force or a display that they can join a winning side will be of use.
Potentially.
Since we're already in the open, the best thing may be to just strike while things are hot, while we still have somewhat of a element of surprise.
So then, who do we strike? Do we go after this noble? He seems a rather unscrupulous fellow, if maybe no different than many others.
That may bring the people to our side at least, and perhaps even future soldiers, expand the forces we have. If that's what we're going for, is a more official capacity here, or did you want to play a more subtle game?
Well,
What has subtlety ever won us?
well, I think subtlety has a role, but subtlety is our primary tactic at this point. I think is out the window. We did just have a giant fight with a whole bunch of people on top of a hill next to a village. The village saw what happened.
The village saw what happened, but I'm going to say it's not like you did this in the streets of Origin, and don't assume that everybody in the region now knows everything.
No, but there were many witnesses, and rumors will spread. To quote a line from a Tom Clancy book, the chance of a secret getting out is directly proportional to the square of the number of people who know. In this case, the number of people who know is relatively high. Which I know is a player reference, not a character reference, but the principle stands.
So Phil just kind of leaned back and says, well, it appears to me that the best thing to do would be to, one, check what resources we have, and then see which targets are easiest to strike, so we can make an example, and we can make a stand and show that we could give a good showing, first impressions and all.
Fair. So
if we're going to step onto the world stage, it might as well be with some grandeur.
Fair. I am assuming either it's potentially in the notes that I've got on a tab here somewhere, or we do know who the noble who was hassling the town is, correct?
Yes. Vizcaya.
Okay.
Hassar.
Okay.
Veka. Veyka.
Ah, okay,
Veka,
there we go.
and his first name is Hassar. His personal name is Hassar.
Okay. So do we strike at Madhu Jarek or this Hassar fellow? Jarek seems to be, well, the spider and the one behind the attack on the child and such things. And this other fellow, well, distasteful, frankly seems no different than the whole system. Well, both need eliminated or changed. What say the rest of you?
I'm good.
It works for me.
So, we want to change the system, or at least that was my goal, perhaps. Jarek is clearly an agent of Gem, and that appears to be our primary foe, if you will. I feel perhaps the nobles would be a little more accommodating were they not being pressured so much by the overlords from Gem.
Yes, and if we can pull the nobles to our side, then that gives us even more resources and perhaps allows the people here to stand on their own feet.
Fair.
There is something to be said of cutting the head off the snake.
Yes.
So then we cut the ropes to Jim. We cut the ties this place has to Jim then, and see if the people can stand on their own.
Fair. I wonder if maybe we let Jarek finance some of our operations, if you will. I'm sure there are cutters whom he is not friendly with. Perhaps we relieve him of some of his inventory and use that to convince the nobles to be a little nicer. You know, if we just say, hey, take these to a certain list of cutters, and that might do both things at once.
Sounds like a task for our subtle group. I will start to see what sort of resources we have for our more direct approach.
And are we going to Have Alaskos go back to the old Red Fang headquarters and kind of use that as our base of operation for now, or what are we doing with that?
Might as well. We won it, didn't we?
Well, more or less, yes. So there might be some smelly cleanup. Kind of a wry chuckle there.
Well, then there's no time like the present.
Then Finn will start to get up from that point, and then I will go oversee the cleanup, and I'll go meet the our new troops. Then.
All right.
I'll help with that.
Side note about timing. This is the evening of the fight, and Alaskos asked you guys to give him the night to reorganize the Red Fangs and decide and decide who he's keeping and who he's not, and who is dangerous enough for him to remove and who is not.
Yeah, if somebody wants to, because I guess Finn might have not been direct since I missed last session. I can assume he wasn't there. So if somebody just wants to remind him.
Well, I'm just reminding you of what.
No, I'm certain. I figure like in character, somebody's like, it might not be a good idea right now. So,
that's fair.
Yeah, so he just okay. Because I think we have other lodgings we can go to. So it's like we'll give him the night, and in the morning we can.
You are a day's travel from Origin. You are in the village of Nomara's Rest. You've been given a house where you guys can spend the night.
So we can do a muster in the morning or the day after. Give him time to inspect his troops, and we'll do that.
Yeah, in my head, this was a planning for the morning session.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Cool. The night passes pretty quietly. You in the morning, just as the sun is peeking over the horizon, you hear some people saying something out in the village, and whoever pokes their head out is going to hear that there are some soldiers coming. Some of the mercenaries are coming, and when you go to find out what the heck they're talking about, it's actually 3 of them. One of them is carrying a plain spear wrapped around with a golden cord, and the other 2, one of them is, just in armor, but he's carrying a sword, no further weapons, and the guy who appears to be in charge is young looking, has his hair up, he's not wearing a helmet, he is wearing armor, a serviceable tunic that looks like it's been badly stained but cleaned recently. He's not local. He is definitely not from around here. And in fact, between the hairstyle and his appearance and some of his clothing, Parviz is going to say, that's from the Varangian states. I almost certainly.
That's many days east, is it not?
Yeah. Well, it's a mercenary group it's months east. But it's a mercenary group that's been operating for years. So he could have been picked up at any time, any place. And considering the original core members of the group were Marukani, this mercenary group has done a lot of traveling. And he approaches the village, and he looks like he's waiting for something.
Well, I would say, Finn, you're the most soldiery amongst us. Perhaps these men appear to be soldiers. Would you like to lead the initial conversation at least?
Well, let's go make a show of it. And he'll kind of look over to the others in the group, and he'll start to put on his sword belt and tuck his newly found firearm into his belt there. Try to make himself as presentable as possible, even though he's probably still wearing the kilt that he came in with and so forth, but try to at least make himself presentable and forceful in appearance, probably the best way to phrase it, and then begin to make his approach out toward where they've stopped.
All right. Unfortunately, with Steve missing, Mofid Parviz is off greeting the sun with an elaborate meditation or something. So he's not available.
But I think we meet them, so to speak, 3-on-3, with the rest of us hanging back a little bit or something. Is my thought.
Okay. So, is everyone going out, or is anyone staying behind?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to hang back.
Logan?
Say 20, 30 yards anyway. So it's clear that we're meeting them, so to speak, on equal footing-ish type things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would assume Cyclone would probably at least move, kind of hang back and like maybe move to the shed, like, scout them a little bit, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. I'm in a position where I can jump in, but I'm not trying to be overtly threatening either. If I can be sneaky and disappear, I'm more than happy to do that.
Logan, what's Nim doing? All right. Well, Logan's not. Okay.
I would just say mostly. I'm sorry to cut. I would just say mostly Finn would mostly be wanting himself, and since Nim has kind of shown himself to be a social person, probably him to come out as well, at least as a courtier type situation. And if the doctor would like to come with us, then certainly welcome. So that it looks like a nice little group is going out to them.
All right.
That'll at least be my impression of who's going out.
Okay. So, as you guys approach, the younger guy that is probably in charge steps forward and he bows. And this is not a local custom. He bows, and not just a respectful, 30, 45 degrees. He does a very deep bow and stands up, and there's no way for me to convey this in English, but he's using a very formal register of flame tongue, and one in which the very grammatical constructions of it indicate he is speaking to somebody very much superior to himself. And he says, "Honored ones, on behalf of Captain Alaskos, the newly bound company, I, Taval Sarian, fourth born of the House Taval, castless in service, present myself for formal parley and discussion of terms. May the stars that guided my birth bend low in reverence to the fires that do not fail." And then he straightens up. Yaniv is going to, who wandered out with you, is going to whisper, "That's Varangian, court forms. He just paid you guys the highest, he showed you all the highest respect that you can be given. Also, he was trained as a bureaucrat. Nobody else talks that way."
So if, Finn's going to sort of look toward Nimbus to see if there's any sort of cultural or response that he should be aware of before he kind of gives a simple, not as low as a bow, but a bow nonetheless, just trying to remain as far as he can tell within custom, as he's not from the region. We welcome the parley and are greatly honored to have you come and speak with us. Do you wish to come inside so we may be more comfortable while we have a discussion?
He says, "I will accept your gracious hospitality, honored ones."
Okay. So he would try to bring him back toward their camp. That's it.
Emma's just remaining quiet and observant. He'll nod yes or no to Finn as necessary.
Okay. So when you guys, are you going to take him where? To the council hall? To the place that you've spent the night? Where are you going?
Probably, I guess, toward the council hall. It would probably what Finn would see was the most legitimate and official place to hold such a meeting, or at least an impromptu meeting like this. Probably something off to well, it's official, probably to a gathering table. I still assume he's probably, just from Finn's background, he's probably more used to smaller settings among clan chiefs and stuff. So probably telling them to bring some meat, bring some drink, a little bit of food to whet the appetite and fill the bellies. He's probably definitely they said not familiar with the culture that he's dealing with, Finn's just kind of defaulting to his own, like a more jovial nature and a more jovial atmosphere as best he can.
Okay.
Just
So several of the women are like, okay, yeah, we'll get on that, and the headman of the village, Bariki, is going to also go into the council chamber with you all, sort of like to be the voice of Namara's rest in this. Make sure that you guys don't, just so they have an idea of what you guys are going to agree. So, sorry, and go ahead.
I was gonna say, if we could just, could you put the emissary's name somewhere I can just, so I don't keep stumbling over it or forget it as I was trying to speak to him. I apologize. Or I could try to write it down. It's just
there. I tossed it on roll 20.
All right. Thank you so much.
I showed his. I also got some art for him, so
Yeah.
give you an idea of
Awesome.
what you're looking at.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So he's got a scroll he's got a scroll case under his arm, and he'll present you with a document. It says, with the Oathbound and peace sealed, Captain Alaskos respectfully petitions for the negotiation of fair terms of service. The following items are open for review and agreement. And he says, in summary, what we desire is fair payment and logistical support to work out a means of grievance escalation, and horses. He says what we would request is 50 war-trained horses, 100 pairs of boots, 100 bolts of cloth for making new clothing, medical supplies. Our current stock is completely gutted. Some replacement tents had some damage. A monthly pay of 3 shekels per head, with more for sergeants and officers in proportion. The liability clause would be the solars that you all would replace damaged horses or lost horses and damaged equipment, and we'd also like to use the village blacksmith for some minor repairs of equipment. Captain Alaskos and the company will be returning tomorrow. That will be the new company, the ones that he has picked. We're calling ourselves the Oathbound for now.
Quite fitting. He would just sort of look toward Nim, and he would kind of slide the document over for Nim to review as well, since they seem to have had dealings previously with them. To Finn's knowledge, is this a pretty standard agreement among mercenaries? And he has a background with it, so is this kind of a standard agreement? Like something that he would be used to looking at, or at least it seems fair to him?
This would be what you would think of as a starting offer.
Okay.
It is a starting offer. The request for 50 horses is going to be something that you would have a very hard time meeting, even if you had more money than you have. And we're talking, this is a initial resources for purchase for what they initially want, and then another resources for every month to maintain them.
Okay.
Which you guys do not have.
Okay. Now, would Finn, from Finn's dealings with them, would he kind of have a knowledge of whether or not this is a cavalry-style mercenary force? I don't remember us doing much with them. That's what he would use to kind of argue with it. So
they do not have. They're currently not a cavalry-heavy force. Okay. But you also know that some of their cadre is Marukani. Marukani are a culture famed as the best horsemen in all creation.
So, once again, just kind of look toward Nim just to review the contract a bit. And he just sort of sit back and kind of tap his finger on the table. Mm-hmm. This seems like quite a bit of horse. We'd be significant use of stables and Are all of your men ready to ride and to fight upon horseback? I did not notice a great deal of cavalry members among your number.
He says, at present, no, but it is the captain's intent to mount the entire company when we can.
Oh, I mean, that's wise, I suppose, to have future plans, but at the current moment, I don't know if 50 horses would be suitable. I mean, until the men are capable and have more of a familiarity with them, so I would feel like how many among your number do you think would realistically fight upon horseback?
He says, at present, perhaps a dozen. We'd still need horses to train them, to train the rest of the company on, and begin converting them over to a cavalry style of warfare. Additionally, horses are useful for messengers, officers, and scouting.
Of course. I'm not saying that horses are not of use to the force, but when a soldier's first starting out learning to fight, you don't exactly hand him a whole plethora of weaponry. You make selections, and those that are capable are given the proper weapons, and those that are shown to be needing further assistance might not be given swords. They might be given spears instead. So, this is something to look forward to.
Finn, if I may ask a question, and Nim waits for the go-ahead from Finn.
You would nod.
At present, how many officers, scouts, and messengers do you have in the company?
10. Or at least we have 10 people that are qualified to perform these roles if we had horses for them. Well, the officers are already doing the job. We just need the horses.
And how many horses do you currently have?
None.
Understood. So if you only have 10 and you're asking for 50, that is a mighty change. Perhaps we could come to a more equitable agreement of numbers.
This is the most immediately expensive item that we are requesting. I have some room to reach an agreement.
Realistically, how many horses could we afford now? I'm asking out of character.
I don't know. What's your resources?
I don't know what everyone else's is. But mine is 0.
Well, then that's how many horses you can afford, man.
Right, but we're negotiating as a group. I don't know what everyone else's resources is.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Most people are, I believe, at 2 or less. And if you want a war-trained horse, that by itself, one of them would be a resources 2 or 3 purchase in and of itself. Well, probably resources 2.
Where is that? I'm missing it somehow.
It's under merits, it should be.
It's under merits. And if you don't have any, then you have resources 0. Or broke.
Ah, yes, I'm 2.
Okay.
As well.
I think our richest person, I don't believe is,
I believe that's Parviz.
Yeah, who's not here.
I'll check his, but...
I think he's the one that actually has the background from a rich family or something.
Resources 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So, the what you're dealing with is you're going to have to come up with some funds, because even at a bare minimum, like, it's going to be a monthly resources 3 or more to maintain these guys. You're going to have to come up with somebody who's willing to fund them.
Yep.
Because, and not to put too fine a point on it, Logan, Nim's name is on a contract registered with Heaven.
Yeah. They're asking again for 50 horses. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
And we can theoretically afford about 3.
Yes.
Theoretically.
If you gave them nothing else, you could come up with 3 of them if you pool your resources. You're going to have to negotiate with somebody else to financially support this unit.
Right. But I want to get that number down from 50 to more like 15 for now. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. Because that makes that, if we can get that number from 50 down to 15, that makes that a lot easier for us to manage to find some kind of funding.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to discuss this, but I will let you know now, 50 horses as an initial buy-in when you only need 10 at present is unacceptable. We can offer the 10.
Says, then provided you can fulfill the rest of our requirements, that would be acceptable.
Nem, do we have like anything to like write anything down? Like, do we have like paper and ink and quills and stuff at this?
Yes. You're in the council chamber. There is, you have writing materials.
So, and did he brought a paper with the demands on it, right?
He brought the scroll.
Oh yeah, yeah. You brought a scroll.
Okay. So I'll start making notes on this. I'll scratch out the 50 for the horses, put 10, and go on to the next point. Because I need to have a very clear picture of what we need. So what's the next point?
Boots and uniform cloth for a fresh start. A uniform, actually having a uniform, not just, hey, wear something red somewhere.
Absolutely. How many boots did he list? 100?
Yes, 100 pairs of boots.
And how many men currently at present in the company? Total, including officers, everyone?
He says, the captain and I have a list of 100 names. So yes, we can provide 100 sabers.
100 boots, 100 boots, a boot per man. That is entirely fair. And he nods respectfully to that because he wants to keep this guy on the good side. Bolts of cloth, conceivable. Perhaps we go with a more cost-effective color with red accents. Red dyes are expensive.
The intention is gray with perhaps a yellow accent is what we're looking at.
Gray with yellow accents. That seems entirely fair. He starts making notes about the bundles of about the bolts of cloth on how much that would need to outfit 100 men. Minor adjustments as necessary. Just looking at this, I'm happy to make a bureaucratic roll for that too, if you need me to.
No. I'll tell you what you need. You need your bureaucracy.
And then what's after the clothing?
Medical supplies.
This is where it gets tricky. We have a healer among us who I think I can speak for her and that her services would be available. I will have to double check on that. But we will need to keep this at, for the time being, more basic levels of medicine. It makes a couple calculations here, crosses out a couple things, adds a couple things in the show of good faith. And then I'm working my way through their entire demands, coming to agreements to find something that takes us maybe from a resources 4 to a high resources 2, resources 3 kind of capacity.
It's
essentially just negotiating with them through each point.
Yeah. Okay. Tense monthly pay. Are you going to play fast and loose on the? Are you going to play hardline on the men's salary?
It's 3 shekels ahead with higher.
Yeah.
For officers, does that seem fair?
It's a little on the high side, but also what you're asking for is not a typical mercenary unit. You want somebody who's basically paid well enough to behave.
Then what I'm going to do is okay. Now, as for the pay, I understand where you are coming from this, but we are newly working together. We will, at my suggestion, go with standard pay with opportunity for bonus based on performance. And he'll notate some figures down on what that bonus would be, and the bonus would take you to what that 3 shekels ahead would be.
Okay.
But it's based on performance and mutual orientation of goals, that sort of thing.
Okay. He's willing to take that.
If I can interject something that Nim might find useful, don't forget we have the shipment of flame rods that we liberated, that we might be able to throw some of those into the mix, or liquidate some.
How many do we have?
You had 400 of them.
400 of them? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And as a show of trust to you, we'll offer, and he looks to Fen, do you think 50 sounds fair? 50 flamethrowers for elite units to earn?
Yeah.
Finn would just give a nod. It would definitely improve their combat effectiveness. You just kind of look back to Val. Your men are trained in these weapons, or would they require more assistance in familiarizing themselves?
They can be trained. We have several among us who have experience with these weapons, and provided you have the flame dust for us, we can train them up very quickly. It's one of the great advantages of the weapons.
Oh yes, I'm quite familiar with them myself. You just kind of look back to Cyclones. I believe we could part them with 50 of them, and if we can secure the flame dust, I believe that would make the men quite happy. Something new to utilize and to make use of on the field. Everyone likes a new toy.
He says we would consider that we would consider it an obligation to train until we were proficient at. That will also put you on the hook to provide a certain amount of fire dust for training every month, and then of course in case of a battle we would expend a great deal of this.
Expect no less.
Just that was me trying to point that out as something that maybe we all hadn't remembered, not trying to interject myself into the discussion per se.
No,
it was a good idea though.
Yeah, I assume I doubt they would mind Cyclone stepping in, especially since he was the one speaking about funds earlier, which is now kind of coming to fruition now. So that's more for Nim to put onto the contract there.
Okay.
Adding it to the contract. Stipulation that fire ones will require basically for elite forces chosen by negotiation with us and officers, so that we can kind of keep an eye out on who is in control of those fire ones too, because gotta keep tabs on this stuff.
He says yes, of course. The other thing he wants is approval of the new name and their planned banner. Be gray with a vertical spear on it with that gold cord wrapped around it. He wants approval of that from Nim, because Nim's the one who holds the oath.
Approval of the name in the like for Nim to approve that it's okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Can you explain to me the full significance of your iconography?
Yes. Gray is for the ashes of the past, and the spear bound round with the golden cord is power constrained by an oath.
Nim will actually sign off on that quickly. He won't even question it. He actually rather likes that, but doesn't say a word, just signs off on it.
Yep, and the new name of the company will be Oathbound. They've decided to stop being subtle. He says, we still have the building in Origin, which we have maintained for some time. Obviously, we have considerably more room than we did with a full 400 men, so... And he just sort of shrugs and says, You could, of course, use it for other purposes as well.
So can you repeat that?
I think he's saying that they'll be using less of that building than they did when they had 400. So that building is available for other purposes as well. He just asks that there not be any surprises, just to keep the company informed.
Define surprises.
He says, well, we'll be living there, so we'd like to be informed of what you're planning on doing with the remainder of the building, just so that we're not, we don't stumble into something that would cause embarrassment, and we also don't have people wandering about the halls that we don't know, and somebody might get defensive about it. We're just asking to be informed.
Of what, like, rooms not allocated towards the mercenary group are being used for?
Yes, yeah, that's all. Mm-hmm.
Aside from personal quarters?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you want to live there, we do need to know what rooms are yours so people don't wander into them.
I think this is agreeable. I will have to discuss this with my group, so we will come back to let you know about this particular point. I can't speak for all of them in regards to this, but I think it is agreeable.
The captain has one final request. If you are... The agreement you made with him and bound us with is delightfully non-specific. Has my presence here for negotiations. He would appreciate that once we have finalized the contract, that you should bind yourself and, of course, our company to the terms of it.
He's looking over the original scroll. Is there any kind of out clause or time duration on it?
Revocable by consent of on your part. Basically, when you say the contract's over, but at that point you have no claim on them regardless, like nothing. Now, whether that fulfills the wording of your oath, well, think about it. You promised them an honorable cause. If you cut them loose before letting them fight in an honorable cause, you broke the oath.
And that kind of sucks.
Hey, that's why Eclipse oaths are not to be entered into lightly.
Yup.
Actually, I don't mind this. This is fine.
Okay.
That also keeps them on the level. Like, I can't ask them to do anything really heinous. It's kind of a protection for out of character for me in a way.
Yeah.
I can agree to this, and I will agree to this when we settle the terms of this, and when we shake upon it and sign, you will have your deal.
He says, then we have an agreement. The company will be returning tomorrow, probably more towards the end of the day. So at that point, you'll have to let the captain know what your first orders are. We'll go from there. And he says, unless there is some other business, I think that concludes what we're doing. What we needed to negotiate about.
I think it does. We will be in touch.
And he smiles, stands up, bows low again, and he and his troopers are going to head back out. There's one tent still left in the camp. Well, actually, no, the tents are all there. They haven't broken camp. The equipment's still up there. There's like maybe 8 or 9 guys, just enough to make sure nobody comes and starts like stealing all their stuff. But the rest of the troopers have all marched out towards Origin, where, as you recall, Alasko said he was going to pay off those that he did not want to keep, but who he did not feel would be a threat to the new company. And that's the point at which Ariki says, "And what of us?
Who says what of us?
What of us?"
No, who said that?
Bariki, the headman of the village.
Ah.
Sort of, okay, you've committed to, you've knocked out one group of rent collectors, yes, but what now?
Now I vote we all go have a drink and sit down and do a bit of what if? What if we do X? What if we do Y? What are the demands that we have on us already, and where do we need to go with them?
Before we do that, though, Nim does look to the headman. While we are here, you will be under my protection. I cannot speak for the others, but I think they would agree. You will be fine.
Cyclone would nod in agreement with that if he's in the room.
But yes, drink and figuring out where we're going to find this money is high on Nim's list of things to do.
Yes.
Yes.
Money. No.
Procurement of resources has become priority number one.
Intro and outro music by the band 12 Noon. You can email us at meandsteverpg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at @RPGs. Find us on Facebook at Me and Steve RPG Podcast. On Discord at Me and Steve RPGs. And as always, all of these links are in the show notes. Thank you, and be kind to one another.
How much for the cigar?
Cigar, $20, dog. You gotta go down the street to the store and buy that.